just really...
yeah, I've done the balloon thing.
Yeah, okay.
High.
Right.
Yes.
So I was thinking...
Is that okay to do to your boat? Is it safe? Is it dangerous?
Well, we always say, don't try this at home.
Okay.
Try it at a friend's home.
Okay.
So if you... So, I mean, that's the legal thing.
Okay.
All right, so helium is 6 times lighter than the air we breathe. So I was thinking, what if we used a gas that was 6 times heavier than the air we breathe?
It'd be different.
Yeah, so here, watch this. So, see, that's already good. You did a good job.
Right.
All right, so here we go. So this, okay, so you're just going to hang on to this. So this gas is 6 times heavier than the air we breathe. And I'll show you.
It's heavy.
Oh, that tricked me for a second.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. So now, watch what's going to happen. So what I want you to do, I'll teach you how to do it. You're going to breathe all your air out. You're going to go, and then I want you to breathe in about half of the balloon, and then just talk to the audience. Okay, ready? Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, now talk to the audience.
All right, I will talk to the audience.
Is that cool?
Yes. Luke, I am your father. Isn't that weird? Yeah, that's very weird. That's so weird.
All right, so safe science, wear your glasses.
All right.
All right, so here, this is kind of fun. So when you got a cut as a kid, you would always put on, well, Mom would always put hydrogen peroxide on, you know, that stuff.
All right, what do we do?
All right, so now, when I say go, you pour it in there and then stand back. Fast, all right? Ready, here we go. 3, 2, 1, dump it in and stand back if I were you.
Wow.
Is that cool? Now, I just can't get it to stop. All right, it just keeps going.
Wow.
That's fun.
That's amazing.
Kind of cool.
Wow.
Now the glasses look really good, but I'd take them off if I were you.
All right, I'll take them off.
All right, so here, this is this last
that's
little
amazing.
thing. Isn't that kind of cool? So
Yeah.
all the oxygen comes out, and again, kids are talking
So
about
that's
it.
just all oxygen that comes out.
Yeah.
And
Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. I'm a prop guy, so this is just how it works. Tammy, raise your right hand. Yes, you may come up. Come here, Tammy. You're going to be so good at this. Sneak over this way. Huge applause for Tammy because it's product time. Come here. You're going to be so good. All right, so look at the audience. Say, I'm Tammy.
Hello, I'm Tammy.
And say, I'm going to open the can of soda.
I'm going to open the can of soda.
Do you say soda or pop? What do you say?
Huh?
What do you say, soda or pop?
Pop.
Oh, fancy. All right. All right, so, and say, I won't spill a drop.
I will not spill a drop.
And you can trust me.
And you can trust me.
Good job, all right? So, now, I don't know how you learned as a kid, but you don't have to be a science idiot to figure this thing out, all right? You know that when somebody shakes that can of soda, it's going to blow up, all right? Which is the most exciting thing for a kid in the whole world. And you promised to open this up, all right? So this is yours, and you were in the law building, all right? When I was here at CU, we didn't get to the law building, all right? We just stayed over at the chemistry building. But now I'm over here with the intellectual property attorneys. So now there's no way I'd make you open that up unless you knew what was going on. You ask most kids, why does this explode? They'll say, there's a gas inside. And some of them say there's carbon monoxide. And you say, no. You say dioxide. And others of them say it's the bubbly, it's carbon dioxide. So I want you to see what's going on. In order for you to see what's going on, I want you to see a clear version of this. All right? So hang on to the bottle. Nice. And I'm going to reach over you, but you need some water. So the water goes inside like this. Nice. 8 ounces of water for those people that care about metrics, 240 milliliters. But convince our teachers to do that, all right? And now we need bubbling action. And so here is our bubbling action. This is it right here. All right, so a little bit of Alka-Seltzer. I learned as a 3rd grade teacher in the Cherry Creek School District for years, you don't start words for kids and let them finish them and expect that they've learned anything. So I said to a group of kids, this is what mom and dad will have if they don't feel good at night. And the kid goes, sugar. I go, no, it's been a rough night. Look, Alka. And she said, Hall. And I go, welcome to Denver. All right, so now I'm going to drop this inside. It's going to start to bubble. Your job, Tammy, trap the gas, measure it, tell everybody how much there is. That information now will allow you to open the bottle. Got it?
Okay.
All right, here we go. This is going to be good. Do you have a way to trap the gas?
I have.
Nice, that's good, all right? A little problem, in about 10 seconds, whammo. So that's why I'm gonna stand right over here after no. You get this, watch this. So this goes here, and this goes here like this, which is fun, all right? So watch this. So this goes here, nice. Okay, now, you stay here because the camera's focused right on you. I'm gonna step right over here, all right? All right. Many, many years ago, there was a really cool man by the name of Don Herbert. And Don was the original Mr. Wizard. Do you feel, are you involved right now? Perfect, all right? You want to involve them? Point it over there. See, there you go. Nice, nice. And Don Herbert, this was his signature demonstration. It never gets this big in Littleton, but in Boulder, it's huge now. And Don would always say, how much gas is trapped in 2 tablets of Alka-Seltzer? And you would do this. You would take the funny thing, and you would turn it upside down like this. And you would use a little gradation on the side to say more than 8 ounces of gas are trapped in 2 tablets of Alka-Seltzer. And that was his big demonstration. For 30 years, he did that demonstration. This is the one that was done on The Tonight Show more than any other science demonstration. This is the one that Don always picked, all right? It wasn't until he did the Nickelodeon series that Don said, you know what? He says, I've been teaching kids the wrong thing for 30 years. He says, I had to think about it. I'm not teaching how much gas there is. He says, I'm teaching how stretchy the rubber is on top of the bottle. He says, I allowed the gee whiz to overtake the content. And that's probably the best advice that a teacher has ever given me. Never let the gee whiz overtake the content. We're going to talk about that, but I got to get to your big finale, all right? You get a choice. You may either open the bottle or you may open the can of soda. Which one do you want? Because I see that it's 50-50 and you're out of lifelines, all right? So which one do you want? See the bottle, see the bottle.
A bottle.
Perfect, all right? They both explode, but this one's fun to watch first, okay? All right, so here's what you're going to do. If you open this right now, this is exactly what happens with a can of soda, all right? You scare me, all right? I'm controlling you now, all right? If you open this can of soda right now, this is what you see on the inside. You can't see it, but see the bubbles that are right there? That's why it explodes. Those bubbles get big and push the liquid out. So if you could just take your fist and knock the bubbles off, do it. Knock the bubbles off. Good job. All the way around. Good job. Nice. I'll give you one little hit right here, and then it'll get it. Nice. Now the bubbles are at the top. So if you open it, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, you're going to be fine. Ready? 3, 2, 1. And the crowd goes wild with excitement. But this teaches us nothing, all right? Because you promised to do this, all right? I don't know where you were, what time in your life somebody taught you to do this. And I'm here today to tell you that this does nothing, all right? Some of you guys are going, he's a liar, because I know it does stuff. And so what I want you to do is just go home, shake up a can, and go, honey, watch this. And then you open it up, and it'll be everywhere, right? Where are the bubbles? The bubbles are on the sides, right? They're on the side. We want them at the top. So you snap the bubbles off. Ready? Snap them off. Snap them. Good. Ooh, nice, nice, nice. Now there's only one tiny little problem here, and that's this. I don't know that you've got all the bubbles at the top. I don't really care because I'm not opening it, all right? So, but you are. All right, so here's what I have. I've got the cup, so you and I work together. Ready? You are going to pop it open. You're not going to get that wet. I'll pour it into here, show the bubbles are still there, and you'll bow to tremendous applause. Got it? All right, 3, 2, 1, pop it open. Oh, I love that part. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Let's see if the bubbles are still there. Watch this. The crowd goes wild with excitement. You are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And for being such a good helper, you can take home your chair. All right? So this is yours and anything else you want in the room. All right? So, what you just saw was the demonstration, right? It was a horrible product demonstration. So why not show you the bad first? All right? I think it was engaging. I think it was kind of fun. But the sale came so late in the game. The sale was the piece that you will never forget for the rest of your life. You'll never forget Tammy for the rest of your life, and I'll show you why. I'll show you why. You're going to be someplace, sometime, somewhere. You're going to forget me. You're going to forget anything. But you're going to look across the room and watch somebody do this. You're going to go, Tammy! Da, da, da. In the teaching world, in my business, we call that an unforgettable learning experience. And if I can get a teacher to teach 10 unforgettable learning experiences a year, I got a way to be able to change a kid forever, right? But I'm in the sales business. And if I have to put my hat on the other way, I've got to look at it a different way. The marketing came so late in the game. I had to engage you for a long time, the baby bottle blowing up and telling you about Mr. Wizard and everything else to get to this point right here. It would have been a whole lot better if I would have said, Tammy, come here, watch this. Shake it up, put it in her hands and say, I'll show you in 5 seconds how to open it up and you won't get wet at all. It'll cost you $49.95, but I'm going to show you how now it's in her hands and it's ready to go. Making sense? So you can see what I did wrong. And what I did wrong was this. I fell back on my teaching background, and that is, don't let the gee whiz overtake the content, which was Don Herbert's original words. The opposite holds true in my mind in marketing. Don't let the content overtake the gee whiz piece, because I got to grab them first. I got to stick that Cool Ranch Dorito in their mouth and have them go, oh God, does this taste great? Because then all of a sudden I turn to somebody else. I can't stand there for 3 minutes and say, you notice Doritos is a great brand. And no, yeah, you were absolutely right, Keith. You stick it in their mouth and they're ready to go. Keith and David have forgotten more about marketing than I ever learned. So when they talk about guerrilla marketing, you're looking at the nuts and bolts, low budget kind of guy that does this buzz marketing thing, because I don't. I'm the absolute extreme of what you've heard so far to be able to do it. So what I want to share with you are some ways possibly that we hit that product pitch. Because I've drawn this corollary, and that's this. People who product pitch well seem to do extremely well on the internet, because they've learned the marketing piece. And so that's what I want to show you. As we divide this whole thing up, I want to show you not only what I think are some fun kinds of ways to product pitch, and to have some of you help us with your product pitch as well. But this whole thing came about because I asked Thomas when I was judging the Rocky Mountain Inventor Showcase, I said, we really should have a time that we can go through some of these inventors and help them with a pitch. Because I said, I was at their booth for 4 minutes and I still don't know what it is. If they would have just put the thing in my hands and said, spin it around like this and it makes a message, I'm all over it immediately. I had to get to that point first while I'm playing, and then tell me all the cool things that kind of go along with it. I'll show you the two different ways. Here, watch this. Here, watch. So, see the piece of tinsel? It's a tinsel like from the Christmas tree. Here, watch this. Watch. Nice. Here you go. Will you stand up for me, Anita? This is yours. So what I want you to do is just play. Do you have kids? Your kids are going to think you're amazing. You will keep them busy for hours. Hang on here. Got it? You're actually, oh, nice. Isn't that great? It's almost like magic. Don't get crazy. All right? Perfect. Now, you're done having kids because of the nuclear reactor in your hands. But other than, well, now look at what you did. Now look at what you did, all right? Now I got to climb up here and try to whack this thing down. Oh, nice. I love that part. Here, I'll get it back up for you, all right? Fair enough? Do you notice what's happening? The dialogue with the customer is this just going, be cool. You want to be the coolest mom in the whole world? Here's the stick. By the end, it doesn't matter that it costs $26.95, right? No matter that it, and it doesn't matter too that you're creating a Van de Graaff kind of negative charge, and I'm putting negative ions on this. You just picture yourself with your kids going, kids, get over here, look at this, I can make things fly, right? Because the pitch is just a little bit different, right? Thank you for helping. Here's something that they went wrong, in my mind, they went about the marketing the wrong way. When they marketed to us, and I have a catalog company, so at stevespanglerscience.com or with our catalog business, this company came and pitched this to us, but they pitched us all the things that I didn't really care about. In fact, it went by the wayside with our product development guy because they pitched it as a mini Van de Graaff generator. Mini Van de Graaff generator. Ion generator, be able to create a negative static charge and use the repulsion principle to, it's like, no, just say I can float things. Show me a video for 30 seconds that you do this and I'll make this the most viral thing you've ever seen, all right? To prove the point, I was able to demonstrate this kind of idea in a homemade one on Channel 9 last Monday because I have a normal science spot that we play with. After that, in the blog that I'll share with you right now, I now naturally rank higher in Google than the company who manufactured it. Why? Because we created a little buzz, right? I got a lot of people to look at a video that aren't in the Denver area because we were making objects float in the air. I had solved the levitation problem that any 5-year-old could do. Levitation is huge on the internet, right? I can make things float. Boy, does that Google well. All right? But the product pitch was different. So if I was standing at a booth all day and pitching this, I'd make sure that it's in their hands, and before I even talk to them about it, I'd go, do you have kids? Here, try this. You got to do this. No, hold it this way. No, turn it this way. You're making things float. Do you see the buzz that kind of goes along with it? So it's a little bit different. So part of the 2 secrets that I wanted to share with you today, and there's a lot to be able to share with you, and I'm sorry if we just touch on some little things, and hopefully you're going to yell at me and say, hey, no, wait, I've got a product, and how do we kind of spin this? Is number 1, don't let the content overtake the gee whiz piece. So it's absolutely the opposite of the teacher. All right, so I had to turn my teacher hat around and make sure that I engaged him first. It's one of the 7 deadly sins, I think, for a teacher is that the kids get so mesmerized in what they're doing that they can't learn. And so we have a real problem in the education system teaching teachers how to do these cool science demonstrations, because we have to then bring them back in and go, okay, now the magic was cool, but now we got to teach them because that's our job, all right? So we've got to be able to balance that. As a product person, I want to be able to catch them first, and then while they're engaged, be able to feed them those benefits and those features and everything that you heard this morning from David and from Keith. Okay?
Somebody approached you with this product and they pitched it.
And I passed.
But did you recognize, I mean, I understand the pitch was bad. Let's just assume it was just.
It was a 1 sheet with no pictures. A 1 sheet with no pictures. Talking about negative ion repulsion. No, absolutely not. This is absolutely. Then all of a sudden I'm in New York at the New York Toy Fair, and I see this little tiny booth that somebody has probably mortgaged part of the house to be able to have at the New York Toy Fair. And here is this lady kind of by herself holding this, not floating it, but holding this. And so we kind of walked by, and I said, oh, hi. And she says, do you want to see a magic wand? And I said, sure. And she says, okay, look. And then she reaches over, and as soon as she touches it and it floats, the buying team that I'm with, there's 4 of us, I went, get over here, come here, really fast. And so immediately we're on it, all right? I didn't even care what it cost. What I saw here was the ability to make something fly, and I knew that there was buzz that was available with that. Okay? So I have to now take it from both a buyer standpoint and from a marketer standpoint, and that is the demonstration piece, I think, is so, so important. So that 1 minute piece, and it may be too early in the presentation right now to be able to do it, but one of the things that I asked was that we had 3 people here in the audience that had a product that they pitched, and they had a 1 minute pitch. They had something that was so compelling that they would just grab our attention and go, that's it. Because I think we as a group can look at it and say, man, that is a cool product, but I'd do this first. I'd make sure that it's in their hand first, or I'd make sure that I grab their attention first this way to be able to see it. And it's a hard thing to do. It's one of those things that you do in front of a lot of people over and over and over again. Our families are so tired of hearing our product pitch, all right? But there's always somebody to be able to show it to. So does somebody have, out of the 3 people that I had asked Thomas to kind of help us with, is there somebody that has a product pitch that wants to share it with us real fast? It's low pressure, so it's nothing that we're doing that's high pressure. Do you want to try one? Yeah. Do I need to hold anything, or do you want me to stand back this way? Okay, I'll hold this. Okay, good. Okay.
Okay. We sell machines that build things out of plastic. So this was made in our machines in different parts and glued together. So it's a prototype of a wheel.
Beautiful.
This is a wheel bearing, and I make a whole bunch at one time, like 25. And when I take it off and scrape them off and pop them out, the little balls are already inside.
Really?
It's really, really cool.
So you didn't put that inside? You didn't assemble
No,
this?
It was built like that. With the
How does it do that?
It's melted. It looks like weed whacker material. Goes through a hot glue gun. It builds it, and then when it's done, this is like 20 minutes. You just scrape it off, and it looks like that.
Really?
Yeah.
So why do you make that? Why does somebody make that?
This would be a prototype for an invention,
Oh, so it's for an inventor.
or it could be other kind of people.
Right.
Car people, medical people.
Is this expensive?
The machine?
No, to do this. Like if I came to you and said, make this for me, what does it cost to make this?
This would, if you were just going to have that, it's probably like $3.
So if I come to you, you'll make that for about $3.
Could.
Really?
But I sell the machines.
Oh, you sell the machine that will do it. Wow.
This one is a part that my boss designed, and it's a shop. So it's a sample of a, cool.
How cool. All right. All right, so here's our product pitch. All right, so nice round of applause for our product pitch. Good. So let's talk about this.
Thank you.
All right, excuse me. Let's talk about this. So give me some feedback with the product pitch, and I think you saw with maybe a line of inquiry and some questions that followed up there. First of all, we have to establish our audience. This isn't just somebody walking down Boulder going, hey, you want to make one of these? So we're in some sort of inventors kind of place, right? So our audience is going to be inventors. What's something immediately that would grab your attention when you're walking by and she comes up to you and puts something in your hand? What would she say is the first thing that would just grab your attention? I'm sorry? Quicker, faster. You're right? What else? Somebody asked today when I was listening. Cheaper? Oh my gosh, this is totally it, all right? Do you know why I love this thing? Because I could hardly wait to get to Boulder about a year and a half ago when I invented my geyser tube that shot the Mentos. I found this device. I don't know where, it was in Longmont. And this guy told me, he says, I can give birth to your product in about 14 hours. And I said, can I wait? And he said, sure. So I gave him the CAD file and I watched the first geyser tube born. This is what you did. You just gave me birth to my product. I can't remember. But it's this guy that's at a Longmont and...
Well, we moved, we're in Boulder,
Okay.
so maybe it's the same, it
Yeah.
might be the same company.
Yeah. So for me, the pitch is this. If you're an inventor, we can create prototypes, and all you have to do is give me the computer file, and look at what I can make. And it's economical so that you can go show your customer immediately. I made this in about 14 minutes or whatever it was, and it could...
Change it.
Yeah, that's kind of the sales piece for me. So in their hands, for an inventor, it just totally made sense to me that's where it would go. So I would recommend that it's in their hands and immediately, are you an inventor? What do you invent? What do you do? If you ever needed a prototype, look at what I can do. And a laser did that. Well, it seems like a laser, isn't it? It's like a little glue gun that keeps on going around and around. It's just absolutely amazing. Yeah, amazing.
I'm confused, so are you selling the prototypes, or you're
We
selling?
sell the machines.
So you're actually not selling prototypes, selling
No.
them with a CAD
No.
file?
That's right, and they'll give birth to your idea. You've never seen the idea before. They'll give birth to a three-dimensional object.
No, but you're selling machines. But you also sell the if I came to you with a CAD file, would you make the prototype for me, or is that not?
Nope, we would make it for you to see how it works.
But you could also buy the machine if you want
You
to.
can buy the machine, which is cheaper, and then just build it all the time you want.
I still don't know what you do.
It's a machine.
No, I
that
understand
builds
the technology,
yeah.
but do you sell the machines, or do you
Uh-huh.
make the prototypes, and then
We
you can buy the
will,
machine?
we will make a prototype to show people how it works.
Well,
or-
what I'm confused about is it seems that you're not saying you would use this for production. It seems like you'd only
No.
need a few prototypes and then you'd go to production, so why would you buy the machine?
Well,
You
a
just
lot
want
of
some
people
prototypes.
change all the time, and they have different ideas.
Right.
So it isn't.
I didn't want to buy the machine. I just wanted to find some guy, and I would pay him a couple $100 per prototype because it was a whole lot less expensive for me to send that prototype to China, to the factory in China, and say, this is exactly what I need. This works for me. Now can you do it?
Right.
And it gave me peace of mind because I didn't trust the CAD file because I don't think that way.
I'd want
So,
to know,
Right.
well, where's the company that provides the service?
yeah, because I think that that's a great thing as an inventor. I want to know
I'm
that.
trying to buy
That's
the
a great
service.
idea.
You're saying you buy the you sell the machines.
Do you see how it's
So
crafted?
machines- Now, one machine I just sold is to a guy down in Denver who has people come in and use the machine. So he has a membership to his,
That's what we want that guy, all right? So maybe your pitch is to the people who are going to buy your machine, not to the end person. The person who has the machine, he's the one that, or she's the one that's pitching, hey, you got $100 and I can make this come to life, all right? I'll bring your product to life and see if it really is working, all right? It could be a huge
Yeah, it is
business.
Yeah, it is a huge one. He just had his grand opening 2 weeks ago.
And she will tell you who that is at the
I
end,
have
so
all
that's
the
very good.
information.
Hey, thanks for this. This is very, very
Thank
good.
you very
Nice round of applause, would you? All right? Let's do that, because I think we could spend an entire hour kind of putting these pieces together. But is that making sense? Yes.
It was actually, based on the conversation, what came to mind for me is actually having some way of showing the file, whether that's a card or a memory card or a picture of it. You give me this, and then you pull out, and I give you this.
Exactly.
And you do this, and then you have the object. So
Exactly.
you can see that transformation
Yep.
from digital to
Yep, absolutely. That makes tremendous amount of sense. The people that I see the best, who are great at doing the pitch, seem to understand the next piece, and that's that internet piece for me. All right? Once I understand the pitch, and once I know how to do something in somebody's hands, once I know how to be able to say the words or write the words that I need to grab their attention, all of a sudden, for me, as a small business owner, this whole thing kind of works, all right? So let me see if I can do this. Remember that I told you I'm a prop guy, but I've got to be able to show you some of these things as well. So let me do this and kind of stand over here so you can kind of see kind of what's going on with it. We have two companies. There's really two companies in one. There's a speaking business, and that's my business, training teachers and doing our boot camps around the country and so forth. So I was a teacher for 11 years in the Cherry Creek school system, and still I work as a consultant for the Littleton Public Schools. But my job is to teach teachers how to be amazing. So they're great, they're good teachers that are out there. I want to teach them how to be great teachers using some of these very simple techniques, but in a concrete way to make sure that their test scores go up and to make sure that they can do the things that they need to do to be able to grab a kid. To be able to see, and you've seen the commercial that says that we're 21st now in science and 25th in math, to realize that only about 15 years ago we were number 4. All right? So when we see that we progressed in 10 years in our TIMSS test, our Trends in International Math and Science, from 1993 to 2003, when more money was spent on education than you could ever imagine, we showed 4th graders across the United States progressing 0%. 0% progress in 10 years after all this money had been put into it. So we realized what we were doing was wrong, and so maybe there was another way to be able to do that. So this is one of our revenue streams, and that's at stevespanglerscience.com. The website, there's a lot of stuff going on there, and it's constantly in evolution, but it never looked that way at the very beginning. In fact, I'm a guy that likes things that fizz and pop and explode and blow up and so forth. So immediately we turned to our New Zealand development team, the web development team in New Zealand, because we couldn't find somebody in the United States that could do what we wanted to do at the time. This was back in 2003, so we turned to New Zealand. These guys were handling some very, very big clients, and they originally said no. I mean, their big clients were people like 1-800-Flowers, Coca-Cola, Petsco, people like that. All right, a Discovery Channel, and so we didn't even have 1% of the revenue I would think that some of these other people have, and so this company turned us down and came back to us and said, "You're fluky enough that I'll take you. So let's go." So I got a big idea. Stefan gave me a call. A gentleman's name is Stefan Spencer, and Stefan gave me a call and he says, "I have got something amazing for you." He says, "This is going to change your life." He says, "It's going to change your business." He says, "This is going to change marketing as we know it today in the United States." He says, "Are you ready for this?" He says, "It's not going to cost you a lot of money." He says, "This is the greatest thing." And I'm thinking, I'm going to get a flash on the front of the website, you know, and my picture's going to kind of come in, and then it's going to be me talking and saying, "Hey, everybody, science is fun." And so I'm thinking this is going to be great. And he says, "We're going to do something called blogging." And I said, "What?" I said, "This is 2004. But what is that?" And he says, "It's an online diary." He says, "It's going to create a conversation with your customers. It's going to be the greatest thing you've ever seen." And I go, "No, it's just take the money and let's create a flash file, all right? Because I want my website to spin and stuff like that." And he said, "No." He says, and I said, "But I just want my website to look better. Can you do something with Flash?" And he says, "No, I'm not doing that." So our conversation ended. He's a cool guy. He goes, "You'll figure it out later on." All right, so let's kind of move forward. This is what I love to do, all right? I love to do something that looks like this. I won't bore you with a video. I'll actually show you what it looks like, all right? Look at this. This is this powder. And you take this powder. It's weird on an airplane to go on an airplane with a little bag of unmarked powder. I find that you get to go to a new place at DIA that most people don't get to go to, and you meet a whole bunch of new people, which is pretty exciting as well. All right, so take a look at the powder that sits in the bottom there. All right, so I love this. So now you add the water like this. You go 3, 2, 1 like this. And now watch what happens to that powder. Never been done before in the law department because it makes too much of a mess. It erupts into snow. It just keeps going and going and going. This is a way to make snow. Now in Colorado, we could care less about making snow. But in Hawaii, they like to make snow. Look at this. That little piece of powder right there, that made snow. I love making snow, all right? I love making snow a lot. And so there was a quick little piece that let me blast through this because I want to tell you what happened with the snow piece. So here's this little thing with snow. You don't really care about this. It just flows fast, 3, 2, 1, and it kind of goes in. Now it looks like nothing's happening at all, and just when you think nothing's happening at all, there it keeps in snow. Isn't that awesome? Voila! Isn't that fun?
Now, it's fluffy to the touch. You can't really compress it unless you add some more water. So the real fun is holding on to it and kind of playing with it. Now hold out your hands, and now when it fluffs up, you even get more.
You can see the old set with Channel 9. This is 2004. Got it? All right, so, all right, something happened. 2004, we're watching Google Analytics. And something happens right there. What happened on June 1st, 2004? It wasn't our website. We did nothing. Here's what happened June 1st of 2004. If you don't know about Boing Boing, just I'm telling you, put a filter on and go take a look at it, all right? Boingboing.net is a blog. It's one of the top 100 blogs. Look at what happened in 2004. Here's a guy that writes, here's a video of a guy demonstrating the stuff that he calls InstaSnow. It's a white powder. When you add water, it's really fluffy. I'm wondering what the stuff is. Is there an open source recipe for it? And that link went to the Channel 9 server. Well, unfortunately, that link also led to a phone call from the Channel 9 people saying, what did you do to our website? We're getting all these hits from people all over. They're not from Colorado. What's going on here? So take a look at it and say, if a blog increases awareness, and if a blog creates buzz, and if it generates sales, I wonder what I should be doing. We started a blog, all right, immediately. I called Stevin back and said, let's do the blog. How much did the blog cost me? About $2,500. Now you can do it for free. Back then, he was instituting this technology, about $2,500. We're on a WordPress platform. That's kind of what it took to be able to do this, all right? So what should I blog about was the big question, because after I spent the money, I said, okay, so now what am I going to blog about? I'm thinking I could blog about things like this. What I did for during my day, my favorite foods and hobbies, funny stories that my kids have, marriage issues, who's pregnant in the office, but then that's a whole nother legal thing that I don't want to get into. And then I thought to myself, what do I blog if I want to make money? If I want to blog and make money, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to do this kind of stuff. Best-selling products, the did you know kind of product information, company events. While you were speaking, Keith, I blogged you. So you're up on Twitter now, and all the followers know that I was at the DaVinci Institute and I'm watching you. And then it's going to go to wherever else I want to go with that, because that's what I'm doing right now. And the people who follow my blog want to know what I'm doing. But I use that technique called Twitter to be able to do that. So I hope I wasn't rude in the back of the room doing this, but I wanted to make sure I had a little Google juice before I left. All right?
What's your handle on Twitter?
Steve Spangler. Yeah, just Steve Spangler. And we can talk about Twitter later on if you want to. Behind the scenes information and customer testimonials. Here's what happened, is that we launched this blog, all right? And I have nothing to blog, all right? I don't have anything to blog. I'm not going to talk about my kids. What do I blog about? And so I was on the phone with Stefan, and I said, it's a bad day. I said, I wasn't on, my stupid InstaSnow was just on Good Morning America, and it was on stupid.com. These people took it at stupid.com, and now Jay Leno's going to do it too. It's on Stupid. People hate my product. And he goes, are you kidding? He says, this is gold. He says, you blog this. So with Stefan's help, I just kind of put this up here. Good Morning America learned today, they learned how to make InstaSnow, because I made sure that we're kind of keyword rich, but I didn't realize it at the time. And look, I'm on stupid.com. I guess it's great to be stupid. And that's the one that started it. And I got 2 responses. I mean, that was pretty cool to get 2 responses. Oh, this was great. Within maybe 3 months, a teacher calls us after I did a teacher training workshop, and she says to me, I got the weirdest story for you. She says, I was driving back home to Pueblo, and she said, I got pulled over by a state trooper. And so the state trooper said, wow, you're going a little fast. What were you doing? She said, I just came back from the science thing in Denver. And she said, if I could make it snow in your hands, could I get out of the ticket? The guy goes, why don't you step out of the car? So with a water bottle in the guy's hands, which absolutely changed the way that we sell InstaSnow, she's got the cop standing there like this, holding his hands, and they put the InstaSnow in his hands. She pours the water, and it fluffs up in his hands. Not only did she get out of the ticket, but she called me to say, could I have another catalog? Because I had to give my catalog to him. I can't put that on my website because I don't know where to put that on my product website, but I'll stick it on my blog. Right? The blog is the place for all the things that you want to have up there that you can't put on your website. And does it get some good Google juice? Oh, it gets some great Google juice. I can now, I launched on, blog launched on July 6th. We've seen a steady increase in sales, and I'm just looking at old data, but this is 2004. What about the sales? In thousands of units, and I'm a pretty simple kind of guy, but in thousands of units, we went in May, 21,000 units of InstaSnow, these little jars, to over 75,000 units of those jars of InstaSnow, all done out of Englewood. So it's not a big company, but we did 75,000 units. Why? Because of that blog. That blog paid for itself, all right? Because I knew what to do with it. I could now see newsletter spikes, but I can see blog spikes over here as well, this fancy little thing. So now I know what's happening with my blog. I've got this marketing tool. So part of the secret was writing these attention kind of getting headlines. And part of our problem was, part of my problem was that I just didn't understand that when you do a headline, that sometimes that's the only thing that people see. Because they've got these aggregators, right? So they're called RSS feeds, and everybody's telling us, and I think it's probably true, email will not exist the way we know it in 5 years because of the clog and so forth. It's a push world instead of a pull world, and so RSS is a pull world. You simply say, I want information about your product, so I come and I sign up for an RSS feed. Our readers are all changing, so it's very, very interesting. But this is what you see. On a blog, you see these kinds of things, these kinds of things that are right here. So look at this. Soda bottle explodes like a bomb. Huge, huge, all right? What happened was a lady up in, I don't know, Fort Collins, or she was in Windsor, Colorado, contacted me at the station, and she said, these soda bottles keep exploding in my garage. She says, I don't know what it is. She says, I wake up in the morning, it's like a bomb went off, and there's just stuff all over the place. And she likes tonic water. I think she liked the gin, too. And she put it in her garage, and it got cold enough and froze, and the shape of the bottle changed, and it fell off. And if you get a bottle that freezes and falls off, and it hits the cap just right, it'll go off like a shotgun. So I had to recreate that, right? So I told my producer at Channel 9, let's blow up some bottles, all right? Because we got to show what can happen with this kind of thing. So that's exactly what happened here, all right? I can do it this way as well. I was down in Florida, and I was speaking to a group of teachers, and we had just finished a boot camp, all right? And so these are teachers doing hands-on science, so I figured here's what the blog's going to be. Teachers engaged in inquiry-based activities to advance professional staff development. Because it's got all the buzzwords. Stefan says to me, that's horrible. He says, think it again. So this is what came out. Teachers beware, or parents beware, teachers gone wild, all right? I learned that you can get the wrong people to your website really, really fast. But those wrong people loved InstaSnow, right? And it did fairly well. But look, here's what we did. These teachers are crazy about going back and teaching your kids. Wow, people want to know more about these boot camps. Why? Because they picked the right words at the beginning. Right? And I know that from pitching things for products, because I'm a product pitch guy. Meteorite hit my house. This is picked up by the AP. All right? Meteorite hit my house. Well, guess what? It all hits your house too. And as a science project, I taught kids how to go find them. So believe it or not, they come through the sky, they hit your house, and they land in your gutter. And if you buy one of my neodymium magnets for $6.95, you can put that neodymium magnet in a Ziploc bag for a science project and wait for the next rainstorm and collect it all at the bottom of the gutter. And what you'll see when you wash it off are these tiny little balls. And these tiny little balls are meteorites that hit your house. If you look at them under a magnifying glass, they're almost perfectly round. I found a university professor that had this kind of information there, and you can see it's even bad now because the picture is gone, and so the formatting was bad, but it didn't matter because it gave us a lot of that Google juice. Write posts on other people's blogs and create these content categories for whatever your product is. You have to blog your product or your products or what you're doing or what you're thinking. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of inventors today that couldn't be at the DaVinci Institute, but they want to hear what you learned. And to give them a little bit of love, to give them a little bit of Google love, as they say, tell them what you did. The thing that I was advised wrong at the very beginning was, you're giving this stuff away. You shouldn't tell people. Charge them a subscription. Teachers have got some money. Just charge them a couple bucks to come and visit your website for the experiments. Are you kidding? We put a ton of money in my time putting up 250, almost 300 experiments and almost 500 videos. They're there, and it's all free because I want them to come and see what we're doing. And I would think it's the same case for you as well. These content categories, hard for you to see, but this little Mentos thing that's sitting there for product categories. I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to go through some specific pieces that I think that are important there, and we'll get a chance to be able to catch up. The whole Mentos thing was really this piece of social media marketing. And what I really gained from listening to Keith is I want to know what a big company is doing right now with social media marketing, because I'm going to all these internet marketing conferences, not these, they're not Amway conferences. This is where the big guys, Keith's there, David's there, saying, here's what we're doing. And they're trying desperately to say, what do we do with Twitter? We know it's something to do with Twitter, but I don't know what to do with it. What do we do with blogging? So what they did was they had CEOs blog, but CEOs decided, I don't want to blog, so I'll just go hire somebody to blog. And who reads those blogs? Nobody. Who reads Zappos' blog? Thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, because the CEO blogs. I get product designers that blog at Zappos. I get to find somebody on the front line at zappos.com. If you don't know about Zappos, go look and see. 260 some employees Twitter at zappos.com. Do you think that that's like an HR nightmare? Probably could be, I don't know. But they're all saying, hey, tried this, did this, look at this. I just had lunch with Andre Agassi. I just showed our shoes to such and such. People love that kind of stuff, and we can all do it with our products, all right? People love to make discoveries. People love to share their discoveries, and information is a commodity. And so you have to understand that they want to interact. And I think you said it so nicely, David, is you said that people want to be able to share this kind of thing with other people. And so we have to give them a forum to be able to do that. But I want to turn customers or potential customers into the world's greatest sales reps for my company. And the way we do it is something like that stick that you saw there where the thing's floating in the air. Because guess what happens at a trade show? They say, hold on, I gotta go get my husband. And so now all of a sudden they're bringing customers to the booth. I learned from the speeding ticket never to demonstrate this at a sales or at a conference. We'll go to an education conference and I'll never pour it in there and say, here, watch this. What I'll say is, hey, come here, hold out your hands. Because over this big, huge bin, their hands are extended, and I pour it in, and they don't want to get their hands wet. But before they even know what's going to happen, because I don't even ask permission, I pour the water into their hands, and they're like, ha! And then when it puffs in their hands, they go, oh my God! And then they go, I got to go get these people. And so guess what happens? I have somebody all day long just pouring snow.
So did you invent that snow, or is that just some
The snow is a derivative of the diaper polymer. So the polymer that's in a diaper that absorbs it. The Japanese invented it and threw it away because I was working on a product for the Discovery Channel at the time, and I got a sample of this that was waste. They were going to throw away 80,000 pounds. And they said, if you can think of anything to do with it, but we're just going to destroy it. We have to destroy an entire reactor that made this because they cross-linked the molecule too tightly. And when I saw it, I remember Jeff, my business partner, I looked at him and went, oh my God, we got to get it all. And it's like, whose house can we mortgage? Who do we love so much that loves us that would somehow give us this money to be? So we brought in 80,000 pounds to the United States and created the buzz. The buzz, it's not a bragging buzz, but the buzz was big enough that the Japanese opened the reactor back up. The French started their own reactor. The Japanese sued the French because they now wanted patent rights on. So now all of a sudden something that somebody was throwing away had a buzz created. And we as inventors do this kind of thing all the time. Our mind is wired differently than everybody else that's out there. It's just the way we do it, okay? Very, very quickly. You don't need to see Mentos stuff. You know what happens. You stick something into to the soda and it blows up. All right, come on. So what I have for you is this. Instead of making you watch the silly little geyser tube thing, I got you all a geyser tube. So it's sitting over there, and just take it home, all right? So there's a roll of Mentos, and there's the little tube, and you know your product? The first geyser tube. I sat there and watched it be born. And then I sent it off to China because Target won't buy from the United States and whatever, all right? I sold a company called Be Amazing Toys because I didn't want to be in the wholesale business anymore. I'm 41 and the hairs were getting grayer, and I have a 9-year-old little boy and I have twin 6-year-old boys. And the amount of time that I was putting into the wholesale business had a direct impact on how much my kids liked me and how much time I got to spend with my kids. And I thought, life's too short, so I'll sell this thing. And it was the greatest thing I ever did because now I can take my ideas that I play with at Steve Spangler Science, and if I like them enough, then we send them over to Be Amazing Toys. And Be Amazing Toys has the investment group to be able to go and put them in Target. I was playing with the big boys too fast, and we couldn't do this. When we sold the first batch of snow to Target years ago, and they came back to us and they said, oh, we get 180 days dating. We had already contacted the factory and said, go. So they weren't going to pay us for 180 days. And if they paid at 180 days, because I didn't read the fine print, they got a discount of 2% because they paid on time. I was playing with the big boys, and I didn't realize it, and I couldn't play with the big boys. I don't have that cash to be able to do that. So the best move I ever did was to move that off and go find, if I got a great product idea, I'll go give it to somebody else and take a royalty on it. versus me having to sit there and push the whole thing. If I'm only going to sell a couple 100,000 of them a year, then that's a great little thing for me because I really enjoy it. But if we're going to sell lots and lots and lots, I got to go spin it off, and you need to have David and Keith tell you who to go take it to. Okay? So what I found out was all these people started picking up the silly little Mentos thing. Did I invent Mentos? No, but what I did with Mentos was I was able to be able to leverage it enough that we took an experiment that a lot of people had seen, and it kind of went mainstream. And it only went mainstream thanks to Kim Christensen, who got wet. And I had done it with Kim 3 other times on the news. So I'd done this on TV 4 times before it went viral. But in September of 2005, we're in the backyard. That day, I'm trying to think, what do I do on 9 today? We'll do the Mentos thing. So I go get the bottles and so forth. And so not to make the producer mad, I had Diet Coke and Pepsi sitting there. And I said to Kim, Kim, now you know, remember when you drop it in, you got to stand back. She goes, oh yeah, but this is all live. Kim says, this is going to be great. And so she puts it in there, she drops, and she freezes for a split second when you do the slow-mo. And then she's holding it here like this. The whole thing comes up and covers the St. John's suit, all right? She's covered in Diet Coke. And I went, oh, I'm so sorry, Kim. She goes, let's do it again. We did it 2 more times. She got wet 2 more times. That, thank God I knew how to blog, because only then was I able to do something with it. Only then, and I don't know if I have the example for you or not. Yeah, that's a whole other story about companies coming to you and saying, can you do what you did for Diet Coke and Mentos? The answer is no, because it all started with just 1 bottle and people watching it go up in the air. That's how it all started. So how do you turn it into this, this obscure thing into something? Again, I use the blog, and this was the thing that's what I was trying to get to, is this. News anchor gets soaked, Mentos experiment sets new record. I had talked to the Mentos people starting in 2000 and never got anywhere. Not return calls. If it was thanks, but no thanks. And I figured they didn't want to be associated. As soon as this hit and that video went viral, but we didn't know what that meant, viral. All we knew is from Gannett, who owns Channel 9, we shut down the server. And when we shut down the server, all of a sudden, the vice president of marketing for Mentos, Perfetti Van Mel, called me and said, hey, I think we should talk about that Mentos thing. And I thought, oh God, I better get the attorney because we're in trouble, you know. I knew if I did it. And they said, you know, we're really interested in how you're using it in education. What a classy way for a very big company to say, we're in. We don't know how we're in, but we're in. All right? And they were flexible enough with their marketing plan to say, I don't know where this is going to go, but help us. And then these 2 guys in Connecticut, called EP Bird or something, they went out there and did like Bellagio fountains of Mentos. That was the greatest thing that could ever happen. Are the Mentos people concerned about sales? I'm going to say no, because never once have they ever approached me and said, now make sure you say Mentos whenever you do it. You can never erase the brand of Mentos and Diet Coke mixed together creates this thing. What did Coca-Cola do? Coca-Cola said, you know, we would rather, their public response was, we would rather that the taste of our soda is what our customers prefer the most versus the silly things that kids might do with it. You know what the bloggers did? Let's try Diet Pepsi, all right? So they went out there, and now all of a sudden, and as soon as Coca-Cola saw that, Coca-Cola said, oh, you know what, we're kind of interested in this. Let's sponsor a contest for science teachers. See how it worked? Because they embraced it. It's that just-in-time kind of marketing principle. I'm all for a marketing plan, but I've learned to be really flexible with what we do as well, because there's these great opportunities that kind of come up. So there are all these things. I mean, when you get the producer from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire calling you, what do you do with that? You blog the heck out of that, right? Because I got a call from a producer who just said, help me write a question. We're going to do a question. It's for $32,000, so make sure that you don't mess it up. You know, if I drop Skittles, atomic fireballs, or lemon heads, will it erupt? And so we had to go out in our parking lot and go, no, it won't erupt. So here I am trying to find candy that won't run, that won't blow up, but here the mint Mentos will, and so that's what you see with that. So again, I show you all the examples that are there. Look at this. This is not a pretty blog. The blog's going to look better because I understand the value of it now, but at this particular time, look at it. It's really hokey. But the number of people that come to it and look at it. So what I'm impressing upon you, when we launched the Geyser Tube, I used the blog to be able to launch the Geyser Tube. It's amazing who came out of the woodwork after we launched. And we launched after the patent attorney said, we're good. All right? I didn't get the patent when we launched. He just said, we're good. He says, you're a rebel. He says, go knock your socks off. He says, because if you wait for the 2 years that it's going to take and everything else, he says somebody else is going to have it. So you're right. So let's go for it. This is the only product that we ever patented. And I'm crossing my fingers that that last little process goes through or whatever. So I've never gone through that kind of thing before, but immediately turned into sales. So that's what we did. We wanted to be able to sell it. I want you, as the last little piece that I share with you is, if you, for your product or product idea that you're thinking about, if you haven't set up your Google Alerts, and if I'm saying stuff that you already know, then just tell me and go move on. Google Alerts, can I talk for 2 seconds about it? All right. If you don't know about Google Alerts, go set up your account in Google. It's free, and set up an alert. I have a lot of alerts. I can't even monitor them anymore, but our copy editor and some of our customer service people each break out the alerts. I want to know whenever my name appears. I want to know all the time when the name appears, because I want to be able to respond to it. When somebody says, I hate that product or I love that product, it's not just you giving stuff out on your blog, it's you responding to people saying, I love that snow because whatever, all right? So it's this dialogue. Take time to respond to both the good and the bad. The biggest thing that we're seeing in these e-commerce markets right now is product reviews. And the question is, do we really moderate the product reviews? And the answer that all the experts are saying is, you moderate them for dirty words and for sexual content and for things like that that shouldn't be up there, that somebody's sticking up there because they shouldn't be doing, or the robots are sticking up there, you know, those spam things are doing. But when somebody says something bad about your product, absolutely, because you know what? I want to know how you responded to it. We messed up this lady's birthday party, and she called at the last minute. It was supposed to be an express order. We sent her slime, we sent her all these things, and by accident, we didn't send it express. And so it didn't show up on the day. I messed up a life event because I didn't get it there in time. And boy, is she mad. So she didn't know how to blog, but she came to us and she said, I'm really upset you screwed it up. And our customer service rep said, may I document this and put this on our blog? Because, and she says, no. She says, I'm mad at you. And she says, I know, but I want to try to take care of it. And she says, and I think we've got a good way to be able to take care of it. So the customer service team got together and tried to find a way to be able to do whatever it was. And we sent a book and we autographed some stuff and a personal note. And I called the kid and said, I'm sorry. I hope you had a good birthday party, but I'm sorry. I got a box of goodies for you. And if you need anything, just give me a call. And I gave him the phone number and talked to the kid. So we just blogged that and said, we messed up and we're going to do better with these express orders. Wow, it got a lot of Google juice, all right? Because I think we were honest and just said, we screw up sometimes, all right?
If you eliminate the negative stuff, people are going to know you're lying.
Yeah.
I mean, this is everybody goofs up sometimes.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Now, this was very fun, and I just stuck this in here because we set up this Google alert for the name, and all of a sudden this kind of showed up. This is a lady called Shaping Youth, and she's this media person, and all of a sudden our name showed up right here, and she says, if you choose to embrace a brand that that's inherently selling by its very existence, you know that what you're in for. Hershey's Chocolate, Disney Cruise, and she put Steve Spangler Science in there. I don't even belong in that category, all right? If you come to one of my seminars to inspire learning in the classroom, they're all branded entities, overt in their goal to move product. Well, no, we're not. I don't sell product at those events, and that made me a little upset. So I posted something on our website from me. I wasn't anonymous. I said, I think you're wrong. I said, I work really hard not to make my workshops commercial. In fact, I probably say Target and Walmart more in my workshops than I say anything else, because everything that you can do with me, if you're coming to one of my workshops as a teacher, you can probably go and do. So I think that that was unfair, all right? Well, I also did something else. I went to a blog that's a teacher blog, and I kind of posted a little comment on the teacher blog that said, does anybody think that I'm really bad when you come to one of my workshops? I mean, am I trying to sell product? Well, here's what happened. She's now inundated with these things on her thing. She says, calm down, Stephen Piper. This lady, I don't know, Piper, submitted this pretty serious little post there. It says, I did not mean to offend. I'm a huge fan, and blah, 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 blah. They do give away lots of stuff, and he is a great educator. Blah, blah, blah. She changed her tone. Within, this is another one. Here's Piper Allen. Calm down. I was just responding to your statement about overt versus covert. I love Piper Allen. I don't know who she is, but I love Piper Allen, all right? She says, I was just responding, and Steve happened to post this on a teacher's blog, and she comes back and she says, Steve posted your comment on a teacher's blog this morning, And she writes back and she says, within 2 hours of posting it on her website, it went from this to this, and she changed the whole web page saying, products and demos that build skill sets and comfort levels, so you're bound to use them and integrate them into your daily life. A successful branded camp will do this. And so you see, who am I? Nobody. I am nobody in the blogosphere, but all of a sudden I had a little notch up because people were following. And I'm going to ask you to make that, to make sure that that's something that you're doing as well. All right? She says, please call off the watchdogs. Who am I? Right? Who am I? So those are the pieces parts that I wanted to be able to share with you. There's a lot of things that kind of go into it. But if somebody had told me when I started this business some of these things very early on, I think I'd be much further ahead. I had a tremendous amount of fun doing what we're doing. So people say, well, you're going to sell? Are you building this up to sell it? No. We have 32 people that find employment in Englewood, Colorado. We have a blast. My wife calls it my fraternity. My wife and I started this business, but I couldn't think of something more fun. From product creation to actual market, I can do it in under 30 days. We created a new Halloween science kit because we had a Halloween science kit, but I came up with some new things to go in it. And we came up with those 2 weeks ago. And because of the website, we launched it, and we're already selling the deluxe Halloween science kit. Why? Because you can. So what a great way to be able to do that, either through regular channels or through some of these very unusual channels to be able to do some of these things. Okay? Gives us just a couple minutes to either ask questions or to be able to hear a couple of our other product pitches as a possibility.
You mentioned Twitter a few times. I have no idea what that is.
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to twitter.com. That's Twitter. Yep, twitter.com. Twitter is blogging for lazy people. I turned off my phone because that's the sound that you heard, unfortunately. But you can set up your Twitter account so it goes to your phone as well. It can just sit on your desktop, and so I use an application that sits on the desktop, and it seems pretty invasive sometimes, but here's what it is. It simply asks you a question, what are you doing? And you write in 140 characters or less what you're doing right now. Now you could say, well, I'm going to Subway and I got a tuna sandwich, but nobody really cares about that. But if I did say, hey, this morning I was honored to speak at the DaVinci Institute, and if you want to find out more information, go to this, and I put the website, that's something that I would Twitter, because the people who follow me, and that's the way it works, is people follow you. So on your website you say, I'm a Twitterer, or the CEO Twitter, or want to know what I'm thinking as a product inventor? And they follow you. So you get people who will follow you, and there's a whole world out there of people who are Twittering. It's a pretty amazing world. So much so, I mean, Google hasn't bought it yet, but you're hearing the rumblings right now. And so whenever Google focuses, I go, let's look at that, you know, because I think they bought what? Oh, they bought Haiku? Yeah. Yeah. And who would have thought that YouTube would be what it is? If you're not doing your product videos, a lot of people say, you know what, on our website, you know, you probably need to go and buy a video player and so forth. Are you kidding? Load that up to YouTube as fast as you can and take that player and put it right in there. And I just learned, because of the schools, I can't stick a YouTube player up and have a kid go see something that in a related video is bad, all right? Otherwise, the school goes, that's shut down. Just try to find a teacher who's open to YouTube right now. There's not many school districts that will open to YouTube. So if I'm lucky enough to have a kid or somebody come to it, we just set up our channel, and in that channel, didn't spend any money, but I just had to have some consulting for how to set up our channel and how to load up a couple videos so that we restrict to only our videos in the related videos across the bottom. So you had to prove to YouTube that we could do this, and I don't know what we had to do. We had to fill out some form or something like that, but we have a restricted channel now. We turned to people that we had used before in this business where we were buying things. I simply just asked some people that we were buying from. I said, this is made in Shenzhen. And I called them and just said, are there factories that are over there? And we went over. I didn't know anything about it other than some sales reps and some people said, here, try this, but we found a place to be able to do that. And that's when I owned Be Amazing Toys, no more. That's part of the gray hair. I didn't want to be in that business at all. I'm going to go back for the first time now and visit the factory that does a lot of our stuff that's in Target right now, but I'm the inventor. I'm not the one that's having to deal with the pricing and everything else. But I just asked. People are willing to give you a lot of advice, I think, if you ask. What I want you to do is go to Google and type in best WordPress blogs. I don't care what anybody tells you, that's the platform. If you want the secret sauce, WordPress, WordPress. I don't care what anybody tells you about Type or about gosh, what's out there? Blogger and TypePad, and I'm just telling you the secret sauce. If you want to know the $50,000, it's WordPress. So there, Word, W-O-R-D, WordPress. And my suggestion to you is it Tommaso? Is that right? Tommaso. Do not do it yourself. Go hire somebody to set up your blog. All right? It was the best money I could ever spend, and there's WordPress guys that are here in Colorado. This is a little mecca of WordPress guys, and for a fairly small amount of money, and I'm saying under $500, they'll set up a pretty nice looking blog for you that has all the pieces that you need to be able to do that.
And so the WordPress is the type of blog?
WordPress is a foundation. It's the software. You remember, it's all web-based, and so that's kind of how it works. Please have them do that, and that's a whole nother thing that Tom needs to do sometime, is a whole blogging seminar, and just a panel of really good bloggers, I think, would be helpful, and kind of how that whole thing works.
Okay, one more question.
One more question, and we'll wrap this up for the taping.
You have an Inglewood store, right?
No, just we have a catalog company, so everything that we do is catalog. Well, our office is in Englewood, off of Federal in Bellevue, but we don't have a store. Yeah. And okay, well, we'll figure out somehow. Well, at least you got a geyser tube, all right, and we'll work from there. Okay. Thank you very much for your time today. I really, really appreciate it. It was really fun. Thank you.